We begin with breaking news from Washington, where Donald Trump has delivered a major salvo in his trade war, this time aimed squarely at Canada. In a letter addressed to Prime Minister Mark Carney and posted on social media, Trump said the U.S. will charge Canada a tariff of 35% on Canadian products sent into the United States, separate from all sectoral tariffs. He also said if Canada retaliates, he'll simply increase the tariff rate once again. Let's head right to Washington now, where Chris Glover is following this breaking news. Chris, walk us through what we're learning tonight.
Christine, it's not long, but certainly it is significant. Trump starts by saying it's a great honor to send it, and it demonstrates the strength, Trump says, of our trading relationship. But then comes that bombshell. Trump says starting August 1st, the U.S. will charge a 35% tariff on Canadian products going into the United States. And this would be separate from sector-specific tariffs on things like steel and autos. And again, Trump mentioned fentanyl right off the bat and Canada's failure to stop the flow of the drug as the reason for the tariffs, but also said other financial issues, including Canada's protection of things like the dairy industry, made the trading situation unsustainable. And of course, this all comes as trade negotiations between the U.S. and many countries were ongoing. Obviously, Trump was unhappy with the progress with Canada, and he laced that letter to Carney with a threat, saying if Canada raises its tariffs in response, whatever number Canada chooses, that number would be added onto the 35% charge that he's announcing today. And we have heard from Carney's office tonight, Christine, only to say that the Prime Minister has received the letter and his team is hard at work.
All right, Chris, thanks for this. Chris Glover in Washington. Let's go to Ottawa now, and host of Power and Politics, David Cochrane. David, this sudden escalation by Trump comes as we're approaching the deadline set by Carney to make a deal with the U.S. What does this mean?
Yeah, everything had been quiet, Christine, which was a sign that maybe it was going well, but then suddenly it was not. I mean, this development is new. The tactic is not. Donald Trump, going back to February and March, had levied tariffs against Canada and threatened to raise them should Canada retaliate. It's essentially using the weight and might of the biggest and most powerful economy on earth against supposed friends and allies. This is very much out of the blue, but I don't know if anything should be out of the blue with Donald Trump at this point. We saw him evolve the tariff tactic in a letter to Brazil yesterday, threatening a 50% tariff against a country with which the United States has a trade surplus. To this point, the arguments about tariffs have been to remedy trade deficits. He doesn't have that with Brazil, and he made very clear in his letter to them that he's unhappy with the treatment of the former Brazilian leader, Jair Bolsonaro, don't like the trial that he is facing because of his alleged role in an attempted coup. He doesn't like the treatment of U.S. social media companies. So it's becoming increasingly clear that tariffs with Donald Trump will be a feature and not a bug, that he sees this as a cudgel that he can wield from the Oval Office against friends, allies, and opponents alike to try to get what he wants. Already with Canada, it's steel and aluminum, the threats of copper. He's working his way through the periodic table and all the key sectors of the Canadian economy. I was speaking with people in government tonight who have seen this. We don't know what kind of a reaction we're going to get yet from the Prime Minister, because the August 1st deadline and the threat there, it is after the July 21 date where they hope to get these things resolved. So there's a window there to settle things unless Donald Trump does something else, and all bets are off as to whether that will happen.
All right. Thanks for this, David. David Cochrane in Ottawa tonight.